I openly share you with other women because I know that you are ordained to guide women. You are a safe space for women. And one, I don't have a jealous bone in my body. If jealousy were to ever surface, I don't think there's anything wrong with the emotion of
Not at all.
jealousy. So that's not an emotion that I am, I guess, like afraid or insecure to be able to admit shows up, like society tries to fear us into. That's one of the bad
Have you ever
emotions.
felt jealous? Not to cut you off. In our relationship?
Mm-mm.
Nah, me neither.
No, no, because it's never been a reason
Yeah.
to.
My nigga, everything is love, but that on anything I love. Yeah.
Peace, beloved.
From a man's point of view, I never really been a jealous dude like that. I've had moments in previous relationships, but nothing over the top where I was trying to control or dictate. And they wasn't like really in the public eye like that anyway, like you are. But when I unpack it, just from my masculine energy and being able to work with brothers, it's really, you mentioned fear, right? It's really two things we're afraid of. One, I'm gonna lose this woman because some other man that may have more money, may look better, smell better, be funnier than me, he gonna come along and take her. And then two, I think this is probably even more overlapping because this has more propensity to possibly happen. OPP, other people's perceptions. What is my homies gonna
you
think?
gonna let your girl wear
You
that?
gonna let your girl wear that? What my homies gonna think?
Yeah.
If that didn't exist, if it was more of a societal norm, I don't even think we would have much of a problem with it. And being a man that's safe in my own skin, safe in my own relationship, and safe in the concept and the energy of impermanence.
Yeah.
We say all the time, we gonna do this till the wheels fall off, and I'm gonna come find you in the next life.
Yeah.
We also understand life in ways that we don't even want to fathom or think about. But I've said to you, I've said to other people, I've said to brothers when they ask, because brothers have asked me sometimes, like, yo, you okay with? Like, yeah, I'm good. If the scenario happens where a post goes up and some brother see you that got all those different qualities, you pique his interest, he piques your interest, and you gonna go a different way, that's what's supposed to happen, right? That level of freedom, that level of openness, that level of love and appreciation for, I want the best of your journey.
Yeah.
Even if at a certain point that don't involve me. And when we have these, these aspects of control and you can't wear that, that's really the vibration that we're projecting. Women may not be able to consciously connect those dots, but it's beyond y'all feeling stifled and not being able to wear it. It's sending a message of unsafety.
Yeah.
It's sending a message of you don't trust me.
Right.
It's sending a message of you're not confident in yourself to know I'm not going to go nowhere. And if that was to happen, there's still a level of you that's still primitive in the fact that there is you can't go nowhere, even if that's what's supposed to be the best for you.
Right.
Right. Scarface got a lyric where he said, bigger D, longer bankroll, she gone. This is what we be thinking, that any little shift or improvement in another man is going to pique y'all interest in the way where y'all out. When y'all love a dude, y'all could be with some of the peasiest of the peasy. If y'all love them, it's going to take a lot for y'all to go in a different direction. But even if that's what's meant, I'm okay with that. So in that way, there is no fear. There is no apprehension. There's the ability for me to afford you whatever you need to in your specific path, with your vessel, with your body, to do what you got to do. And you're right. I feel like a lot of men do need to do some internal self-investigation, whether that's professionally therapeutic or just asking yourself, why am I so afraid of this?
Yeah, because that's the equivalent to women who are afraid of men having female friends.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so that same freedom that you've allowed me to have, I've extended that same freedom in different forms because you have a lot of women that you guide. And I even created a video. I haven't put it out yet, but it's a video speaking about how I openly share you with other women. Because I know that you are ordained to guide women. You are a safe space for women. And one, I don't have a jealous bone in my body. If jealousy were to ever surface, I don't think there's anything wrong with the emotion of jealousy. So that's not an emotion that I am, I guess, like afraid or insecure to be able to admit shows up, like society tries to fear us into. That's one of the bad emotions.
Have you ever felt jealous? Not to cut you off. In our relationship? Nah, me neither.
No, because it's never been a reason to, right? And I think we protect each other enough to make sure that that's not even a necessary emotion. But when it comes to the women that you got, a lot of women would disperse, fall apart. If their man had access to the amount of women that you do and the type of depth of the relationship that you have with
intimacy,
women and intimacy, because a lot of these women, the depths of all the things that they're going through. So they're trusting you with things that they wouldn't even trust their parents with. A lot of women will have a very tough time with the position that you hold in many women's lives. And for me, the same goes. If a woman were to ever enter your life and you decided that that is a better fit for you, I would have to.
I ain't going nowhere.
Me neither.
Oh, here's sip. Get you one, boy. You understand?
But that would be something that I would respect for you, because you deserve that freedom to fulfill whatever your soul's needs are. But with that, while we are here, I understand that that's what you are ordained to do. This is how you are ordained to help people. And I can't allow insecurity or jealousy to impede on that journey and tell you, oh, I feel uncomfortable. I need you to only work with male clients. Or I feel uncomfortable. You can't walk a woman to a car after our event. She needs to walk by herself and
Which I do
possibly
after
get
every
mugged.
event,
Like I would never put you in that position. And that requires a partner that is fully secure in who they are, past trust, because we'll rest on trust all day, but that's past trust. This requires you to be secure in who you are and secure in what God is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and however it falls out is how it's supposed to fall out. However it's supposed to fall together or fall apart is how it's supposed to fall together or fall apart. And I don't think I have to put my hand on it and be forceful with how I would want things to go, just because that's how society says.
And I was just going to say to that before, and we're going to do a 2-part. We're just going to continue to go because there's a lot more here. We're going to split this into 2 parts. Off of what you was just saying, this is where you're able to have the freedom, the understanding, the appreciation for the human experience that poly promotes, all different forms of poly life promotes, while still being an exclusive, monogamous, I choose you relationship. You can kind of have the best of both worlds on this side in ways that the world is going to tell you this is just a ball and chain, and this is not freedom, because you said it's beyond trust, and it's beyond, me feeling like I'm missing something. I don't want nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I genuinely don't want nobody. I follow Poetry and Greens. I follow a whole bunch of different accounts with women that I genuinely and organically have connections and friendships and relationships in a way where I can understand aesthetically, you're beautiful physically, but I still don't want you because it's not this. And I often talk about relationship stain on top of the synergy and the magnetism we already had when we first started to connect. That probably spans multiple lifetimes. What we've been able to experience from those points, the depths of yourself I've been able to be privy to sit with through, vice versa, the shadows you've been able to walk me through, the darkness that you've been able to hold space for. No other woman, just by being beautiful, can compare to that. And until somebody has tapped into that aspect of themselves where that's now at a premium, it's beyond portfolio, money you make, how good you look, it's different compartments of the soul that need to be necessary for you to be able to pique my interest. And now we too far into the game for just physical aesthetic to do it for me at this point. And I'm sure you probably feel the same way. So no shade to the poly community, but it's often, we're going to do a conversation at some point on poly life. But it's often touted as the higher, more evolved expression of a relationship. And I feel like there's an attack against monogamy, but it's because the same way I felt about Christianity coming out of it, and now hindsight being 2020, looking back at it, I didn't have a problem with Christianity. I had a problem with how it was taught. how it's promoted. I find the same thing kind of happening with monogamy, and I feel like a lot of us are not prepared to go into these poly settings. I'm not going to go full throttle. We'll get there, but anything else to that before we move forward?
I think that's good.
All right, so we're going to double down. We're going to keep it going. As far as grooming a healthy relationship, we also had a conversation. We was watching a video on IG, and I've seen a bunch of these videos, and I brought it to your attention. And I asked you how you felt about it. But let's say y'all get through some of the parameters of grooming a healthy relationship, and y'all getting to that point where matrimony is on the table, right? Whether y'all talked about it yet, y'all thinking about it, y'all feeling into it. And the man goes to pop the question, right? We had a whole conversation last week on some of the trends we've been seeing in marriage proposals, and I don't feel like there's any wrong way to propose a woman. You know, I'm not the biggest Christian out here of no sort, but I do agree with the fact that when a man surfaces a wife, he surfaces a good thing. We don't find that, we do the work to surface that. But what we've been seeing is, and initially it was like, you know, the dudes that have the whole marry me, big lights, right? So as soon as the woman is walking in, she kind of already know what time it is, right? You see marry me. So I was saying, do you feel like that takes away some of the intimacy, some of the surprise? Because I feel like that moment is extremely big. How a man cultivates that, and he can't ask for your help in that moment. For a lot of us, it's our first time taking the wheel and how to create an intimate setting that's supposed to last the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And then that opened up a deeper conversation of talking about what we see in current marriage proposal trends. So I want to hear from you. Being that we had the moment we did, right? Extremely special moment. If you want to dig into a little bit of that, you can. But how do you see the current iteration of marriage proposals right now and how men are cultivating these moments?
Yeah, I think a lot of the marriage proposals now are more for social media. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like the man acknowledging my girlfriend or my fiance is going to want to use this footage possibly for a viral moment on social media. Right. So let me make sure that everything is aesthetically pleasing, not so we can watch this video back and it just be a beautiful memory that we have, but so this video can get views. So
it can go up,
based on how fire the proposal was. Yeah. And I feel like it starts to lose the essence of the intimacy and the groundwork that we're trying to build to make sure that we have a lifelong, lasting, and fulfilling relationship. The proposal is so important because it shows you everything. It shows you how comfortable a person is. It shows you how in shock a person is, their mannerisms, all of those behaviors, the gesticular that they have, all of that comes across, and it tells you whether or not a person is really fully in this because their heart is in it, or they're happy that they just got a proposal. They're happy that they just got a ring. They're happy that finally somebody chose them. They're happy that they can just use the words that I'm a wife. And so the proposal itself, and then imagine if most of the people that had these big proposals, what would happen if they didn't do a big proposal? They did something that was just them and the fiance. Would the fiance still be grateful? Would the fiance still be excited? If she didn't have any footage, would the fiance still feel like she just got her dream of finally getting married, being in love, being chosen, being validated and loved? Would she still feel that way? I can't say, but I can assume that majority of women wouldn't. And so I think the proposal sometimes is a distraction of what the real purpose of a proposal is. It is a consecration.
Consecration. We the same person. We keep telling y'all.
It's a consecration with God. It's really a holy sacrament. It's an opportunity to show God the respect that you have for love, the respect that you have for a union, and it's to show the person that you're proposing to, I brought God. God's right here. I brought the angels. I brought your ancestors, your dog that couldn't make it because it transitioned, your cousins, your parents that couldn't make it because they transitioned. I brought them all right here to be present. And I want you to know in front of all of them that I love you, that I cherish you, and that I'm going to take care of you, and I'm going to be present with you for the rest of your life. But you got everybody and their mama present. You got music music playing, hundreds of phones, which phones are capturing spirit, like we just spoke about recently. Every photograph is capturing spirit. So the nervous system is reacting. People you already shaking because you're surprised. So there's so much going on internally, energetically, and spiritually in those big proposals that kind of distract you from being present with God and the person that you are about to embark on this experience with.
Yeah, and there's a few things that came up in what you just said. Kind of going back to a man trying to holler when a woman may not be at her best. Now, of course, a man is usually going to set it up where the woman is dressed to the nines and all that type of stuff. But a lot of women may not be comfortable unless they frequent a public setting like you do.
Yeah.
They may not be comfortable with 100 cameras on them all at once.
Yeah.
They may go straight into their self-conscious mind, but I need to be able to accommodate this moment. I'm about to be proposed to. So you got that contrast. She's damn near now in a performative space.
It is
because I feel nervous.
Yeah.
I kind of feel insecure. Is my hair right? Am I looking good? Am I reacting the proper way while trying to accommodate for what this man is presenting in front of her? So you got the performative aspect, the uncomfortability, also the element of surprise. Like specifically when I saw the Marry Me joints, and they beautiful, aesthetically pleasing. But for a woman to walk in and already the surprise has kind of been taken away.
Yeah.
Right? That influences part of how she's going to feel about it. Now, she's still going to be happy. But women dream their whole life to be able to turn around and, oh, my God, this is actually happening, right?
Yeah.
You take that away, you take some of the resonance of what she's been thinking about her whole life, because I know you're a little bit different. Did you used to fantasize about being proposed to and being married or having a marriage day? Not really, right?
Nah.
Yeah, you're a pariah in that. Most women do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most women
We're trained
are trained to hypothesize and think about this from the time that they are young. So being able to understand some of these things and then going back to our experience, to this day, we ain't got no footage, right? I'm not saying my way is the highway, my way is the only or the holy way, right? It was holy though. But that aspect you talked about, this being for us and us first and foremost.
Yep.
When you give it to the world from rip, to a certain degree, it's for the world too. Even if your intentions are pure and it's 60-40 us, world is still here. I'm not saying everybody got to do it our way, but we've talked about this in the previous episode. We won't go full throttle into it. But when I was thinking about the best way to do it, thinking about how much we had God at the forefront of everything, it could only be God as the witness. It can only be our angels and our ancestors and our purest intentions as a witness. And it was so stripped away. We talked about in the previous episode how we don't listen to music. We don't watch TV during sex. It's just the naked energy. It was so naked, I couldn't see your face.
Yeah.
It's under the moon, 12 o'clock at night, St. John's Beach, that you gave me the most expensive gift a woman had ever given me to that point. She flew me all expense paid to St. John's, not knowing I was going to propose to her during that trip. And all we could sense and hear, the waves crashing on the sand. And it was only a little bitty part of the beach that you could actually stand on. It was mostly water, right? And couldn't see you, you couldn't see me. You felt that I was on both knees, right?
Full moon.
And full moon. We could literally feel the resonance of the spirit world. And I didn't even really ask for your hand in matrimony. It was more so of a confirmation of what we had already consecrated to that point. That wasn't the consecration. That was the coalescing of what we had already bound together. You was already my wife at that point.
Yeah.
That was just me making it known to each other's souls that like, nah, this is what it is going forward.
Right.
And it was dope because yes, we had that moment that was just for us. that our families, my mom, again, God rest her soul. So are you going to do it over again so we could come? I'm like, Ma, it was just for us. But it still opened up the potential to have the other aspect of it. When I read up on your ring. And at that time, you know, I could only afford, she still got both on, right? This is a green amethyst ring. One of the first poems I ever wrote her was Amethyst Heart, right? And it kind of represented that resonance. So when I got her that ring, it wasn't about the diamonds and being decked out. I didn't have it at that time. And she didn't care about none of that. Mm-hmm. But things have changed from that point. He who surfaces a wife surfaces a good thing. She done brought so much abundance into my life and vice versa that now I can do the big dog stuff. I can get the diamonds and all that different stuff. So I was able to have a moment where, was it your book?
My birthday.
Birthday party, right? We already married. It's only a year and change in from when I had made the first initial gesture. I got money now. I'm going to go ahead and get this ring and I'm going to make a whole spectacle of it. And now we are able to have this public experience that I'm sure brought a whole different energy from the first one. So saying that, what can you say about the difference in those two resonances to be able to have the best of both worlds, I guess?
Yeah, that was the best of both worlds, because the first one, it was just me, you, God, under the full moon at the beach. And it was just for us. It felt like that beach was our world. Mm-hmm. Like when we went back to our Airbnb in St. John, it was just our world. Mm-hmm. Nobody else existed. And I feel like people don't enjoy their world enough. There's so many paradigms and programs and rules and society standards that they're trying to live up to. So to a large degree, they have the world in their relationship and they don't even have the ability to enjoy the pureness of their relationship because they can't even think for themselves in their relationship. And you did our first proposal in such a way that it was just us in our own world. And that was beautiful and necessary because no one had the ability to give a opinion on anything, a validation on anything.
Pull you away from me immediately to celebrate with your girls, like you said. Yeah.
Yes, I got to go with you and fully, what was the word I used? Was it consummate?
Consecration.
Consummate. Where you
consummate. Yeah. Consummate. Yeah.
Where it is literally us binding together to make sure that God knows this is it. That's an important time to share that energy with one another. And then on the other side, when you upgraded my ring and did a second proposal in front of all these people for my birthday, you still didn't ask the question out loud. Yeah. You whispered it in my ear. Yeah. So they don't know what was said.
Yeah. And they always say that in the comments that they appreciated that part.
They always say, I love that he kept what he said just for her and him. And the fact that people say, I love that he just kept that that you just kept that between us shows that they do want some level of privacy and intimacy. And I think for me, it was beautiful that people were able to witness us. It was like they were able to just be witnesses. That was it. But they weren't allowed to
consume it.
They weren't allowed to consume it, and they weren't allowed to be a part of the intimacy that we share. It was like, we still hold y'all at bay, but y'all can watch our beautiful exchange. So that was beautiful because I got to feel witnessed. I got to feel seen, and I got to feel how excited people were for our excitement, how in love they were with our love. And that was beautiful. What you laughing at?
I just keep remembering you trying to go on because we was doing a whole event for her birthday and you just kept saying, I can't believe you did.
I couldn't. I was so caught off guard.
And then one more thing before we move on. After the initial ceremony and consecration at St. John's, and if y'all never been to St. John's, just be prepared to drive some scary roads. Yeah. Right? There's roller coasters, twisting and turning. There's cliffs on the side. Yeah. By this point, I had gotten used to it. I'm thugging. We got the Jeep that got no top, right? And the moon is out. The stars is out. And I forgot what we was listening to on the way back. I think we started playing some of the songs you like. What's the joint?
We listened to
Lattimore?
Kenny Lattimore, For You.
For You. So we listened to that on the whole way back. And she just through the top of the Cherokee, and she just looking at her ring like, oh my God, right? And at a certain point, you said, I don't know if we was in a Jeep or we had got back to the Airbnb, but you got a little teary-eyed. and you was like, I didn't even know I needed this.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I wanted this. Because we had said multiple times that we wasn't concerned with being married. Low key, we didn't even want to be married.
Yeah.
We didn't even want a relationship at
Right.
first. But you being able to have that space and not have it convoluted by any other energies, not only was you able to appreciate and sit in the pockets, sit in the pockets of that energy, inside joke, you was able to start to download how your spirit responded to that, to be able to see within minutes, yo, I didn't even know that I needed this from you.
Yeah.
That I needed this in general in my life.
Yeah, it felt like a part of me just like emerged and came alive, and I was able to just feel a different level of joy with you and connection with you. And I didn't know it's something I wanted or something that I needed.
We're gonna wrap up. We're not gonna do all of what we got here. We'll push some of it to a different one. It's probably already long. How long we at?
Let me see. We are at 109.
109. Okay, so we'll still make this 2 parts. Last things I kind of want to go over as far as things that are overlooked and cultivating that and grooming that healthy relationship. So I'm gonna just throw topics at you, and I want you to just respond. Okay.
Okay. What kind of response? Like full sentences, couple words?
Minute or less.
Okay.
Minute or less. First one, knowing when to become official.
Ooh, that's good. It just requires a lot of discernment to know when it's time to become official. It requires a lot of conversation with God and a lot of conversation with what are you willing to endure in this relationship? What are you willing to experience? What are your boundaries and how far are you willing to go? Because relationships are going to show you the depths of who you are. And no matter how beautiful the idea of what you think a relationship will be, if you aren't prepared to see the depths of who you are, if you aren't to take accountability for the mirror that is going to inevitably be shown to you, then you don't have no business being in a relationship.
Right.
So I think it comes down to, do you have the capacity to be a student? Because a relationship is going to require you to be a student of yourself.
Perfect.
What's your answer?
That's my answer.
Okay.
You said everything I was going to say. Second thing, discussing the parameters beforehand of your ideal relationship. And what are some of the things that should be discussed when we get into those parameters?
You answer that one.
It kind of correlates to the other things I wrote down. And talking about what is infidelity to you? Right? What is violation to you? What is me being able to hold space for your heart? What does that look like? What's the details and the nuances of that? Especially when you're dealing with men who haven't been trained in these sciences and these arts of a woman's heart. We need to have that pretext to understand the context going forward.
Yep.
And a lot of times we just end up guessing because we don't set the parameters initially. And men, y'all could be forthright. Don't just leave it all to the woman. Be detailed, be a leader, and some of those things you may be confused on or you never had to dabble in, ask her. First, ask yourself what are those things you unclear on that you may not have had two parents in a household to be able to even understand how some of this works. Start to document, just like I got my my dating diary or my date diary, because we go back and forth with the dates.
Yeah.
As you are courting and becoming a couple, these ideas or questions or things you see on social media, keep your question diary of things that may need to be fine-tuned before y'all actually go into the relationship. Some of which, joint accounts.
Ooh.
What say you?
Say it again.
What say you? Joint accounts.
I think people get to do what makes them feel comfortable. I think people have to get comfortable with creating their own paradigms and doing what works best for them and recognizing everybody's going to do something different. And then lastly, keeping your mama out your business, keeping your friends out your business, because they're going to tell you old ways that have worked or did not work for them in the past, which means that they're going to also give you their fears. So when it comes to a relationship, you have to discern how you want to maneuver in that relationship, what's going to work best for you long term and now. And so we don't have a joint bank account, and I don't feel like that's necessary.
I don't even know how much money this woman got.
When things come about and we need to pay for things,
That's
we
it.
pay for things.
And we've already discussed what we are each going to pay for. We make money together. So, of course, we break that down and share that. But what belonged to you before you got here still belongs to you. What you make, your creations, the things you bring into fruition, Sasha Flowers. And this woman is such a beautiful person that when Sasha Flowers gets back to the point where it's making money, she wants to make that our family business, part of our family business. I didn't mandate that, right?
Right.
But the booking, I don't got access to none of that. I don't want none of that. I don't even need to see what's in your account. That's your money. How you spend that money is up to you. If you come in the house with shopping bags every day, I trust that you know what to do with your finances because you was a big girl before I got here.
Right.
You was a woman before I got here and vice versa.
Yeah.
Joint accounts. Cleaning styles.
That's big. You know what? It's so funny that you mentioned that because I recognize that when I clean, I get mad at you.
I know.
When I clean,
No.
there's a part of me.
I'm glad you finally said it.
Well, it took me a while to recognize why I felt that way because I started seeing it on social media where men are making videos and their wives are just angry while they clean. And it's like a resentment surfaces while they clean. And I noticed it within myself. I'm like, is there a version of me that doesn't like my husband when I start to clean? And then I recognize the version of me that was raised by a single mother who was the man in my life who taught me that men are supposed to do certain things. That's the version that is cleaning, and that's the version of me that gets angry while I clean. So when I'm cleaning, there's a voice of my mom in my head. Men are supposed to cut the grass. Men are supposed to do this. Men are supposed to do that. Why hasn't this been done? Why hasn't this been fixed? Why is this handle still jiggly? I'm hearing my mom's voice in areas where if it's truly the essence of me, those things I would love to be able to clean a house and make sure we have a beautiful environment. I designed this house so we could have a beautiful, clear environment with all of these windows, the sun shining through. I designed it so I would feel happy cleaning it. So it was really confusing as to why when I clean, I feel a resentment that just naturally comes. It's because it's a resentment of what my mom told me that men were supposed to do. They are the ones that's supposed to make sure the house is taken care of. And I now, when I start to clean, am trying to remind that version of myself, this voice was given to us. This resentment for men in regards to being handy men was given to us and given to me. And that's not a rhetoric that I want to carry in my subconscious to the point I can't even enjoy cleaning up our house, straightening up our house and making our house feel beautiful and a home. And I feel like that masculine energy that has been bestowed on us from our single mothers is lying dormant and it's coming up when we have to exude masculine energy because the feminine is really in flow. When you are cleaning, it's a masculine energy because you're thinking about what has to go where. There's logic, what needs to be put where. So there's a lot of masculine energy surging. And I know my masculine energy comes from my mom, which is extremely judgmental of men. So if I'm cleaning up and you are with a client, or if I'm cleaning up and you watching TV, or I'm cleaning up and you just chilling, that resentment is present. And I see on videos all the time where men will get afraid of just relaxing on the couch because their woman is cleaning. And they feel like when their woman is cleaning, they need to be up doing something. Because she also has that subtle resentment. And no one has spoken about why when women clean, they get upset. They start to feel unappreciated. They start to feel unseen, not validated, not worthy. And anger is present. That's weird. Why does cleaning up require you to feel all of those emotions? And where do all of those emotions stem from? I think it's going to be different for every woman to be able to dissect where their anger and resentment stem from when they clean. But I know for mine, it was given to me by my mom.
Nah, that's super deep. And I feel it, right? I don't even think it's necessarily as much so anger. I feel like it's more so disdain.
Okay.
I've been talking, remember I had the conversation that I'm working through disdain. It's a lot of disdain that's available when you cohabitate with somebody in a relationship, long period of time, whatever it looks like. And disdain, people assume dislike, right? I don't like something. Yes, that's part of it. Preference, of course, is part of it. When you look into the etymology of the word disdain, you got dis, meaning lack or absence of, and then you got dain, which comes from the Latin root word dignus, which translates to worth. So whenever we have lack or absence of worth of a particular experience, that disdain can mount, and it may not always take the form or blossom fully into anger, but it's just that nagging, annoying energy that you feel. And like when you talked about, you know, the handyman, I'm not a handyman dude. I'm a very adept man when it comes to being domestically inclined. I clean probably better than most men. I clean a lot. I enjoy cleaning. And we both take on our individual roles as far as cleaning. But I can understand everything of what you just said. That just gave me more clarity into why I feel that resistance. It's like, get out my way. Don't give me no kiss. Don't give me no hug. I'm about to move all your stuff so you can't find it. I'm about to throw away whatever I don't know what it is, right? I already understand to get out the way, but you kind of just clarified and allow me to have more grace and understanding and empathy for that, which may allow both of us to be able to work through some of that. My disdain on the other end comes more so from, I guess, the difference in what we're looking for in a clean home. Yeah. Like we talked about, women is more so the staging. And,
it's staging,
you know what I'm saying? Like the feng shui and the aesthetic. Mine is more so practicality and the logic and spaciousness and being able to have room and knowing where my stuff is. So we both give equal effort when it comes to cleaning, but the styles being so different, sometimes there can still be disdain on my end because you may have cleaned it, but now this is over there. That don't make sense, right? I don't say nothing, but I feel the disdain, but that's also something I've been working through on my end. So being able to have these conversations, because cleaning styles becomes a big one. People always talk about money. Once kids get involved, I feel like people overlook cleaning styles when they start to cohabitate. Just some of the ideas and examples of the conversations we got to have, the parameters we got to kind of align and check off to maintain and establish before we even get into it for real. Yeah. How to cultivate and groom a healthy relationship. Yeah, you got anything else in closing?
Nah, I think that was beautiful.
Okay. See, she was hating on my topics, right? We got a whole double episode, and we got more we ain't even get into, but we'll save that.
I wasn't hating on
playing, baby. We'll save that for the next episode. So we wrapping up another episode of
God Is Me Again. And you know what? We always forget to remind y'all in the beginning.
We be focused.
Yes. Comment, like the damn video, and subscribe. Share it, send it, do all the things.
Favorite it on all your platforms. Yep. And then keep in mind, I'm going to always say at the end, tap in with us this Wednesday. These videos should be releasing on Sunday. So every Wednesday after we put up a new video, we will have community talk simultaneously between our IG channels and our YouTube channel. So y'all can also chime in, give us your questions, and we could dive deeper into these conversations. Go ahead and plug.
Yep. So you can order my book, Remember Who the F You Are, at CandyssLove.com. I'm also accepting one-on-one clients as well. If you follow my Instagram, you can just purchase those things with the link in the bio. But also, I'm just going to link all of our things in the bio of our YouTube as well.
And can y'all please, for me, can y'all please buy some Sasha Flowers skincare? Put pressure on this woman's top, on her back, on her head. So, because I just love the product so much, and I just want to be a kept. I want to be a kept nigga, right? And she said that's going to be ours when we get to that point. So go ahead and buy it up, please. But yeah, it's just such a dope product, and I know y'all would appreciate it. And I want her to have the motivation to get back to cultivating her baby. So Sasha Flowers Skincare.
Yeah.
Yep.
Plug your stuff.
Yeah, one-on-one counseling, relationship counseling, familial counseling, meditation mentoring. Y'all can hit me up for details on that. We have our retreat in June 27th to July 1st, 2025. Y'all can hit us for details on that while supplies last. We only got about 4 spots left. Support the music. Daddy Issues is out right now. By the time this is out, my second single should have been released, Airplane Mode. I'm about to put that out on Christmas Eve. And the album, Yahweh, Yes, All Wounds Eventually Heal, is coming to a streaming platform near you. So make sure y'all continue to support so y'all can help heal hip-hop as well.
Yahweh.
You going to do that on the interlude on the album?
I will.
Oh, yeah. low key, we got something we cooking up musically as well. So stay tuned, y'all.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all listening. Appreciate y'all attention, love, and light. Be blessed. Be good. Be powerful. Be strong.
Be
Love
accountable.
Be accountable. Fellas, don't holler at her if she looking like Scoop Ball McCoy, right? Just slide her a note real quick. And yeah, let us know what y'all think about this episode. Make sure y'all comment what y'all would like to see coming forward. Topics, what y'all would like us to do different. We'll do our best to manage.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.